Good morning, folks. It is currently 10 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time, on April the 15th, 2022. Hope our creator's keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button, share this across other platforms, and subscribe if you're new. Welcome to the channel. I primarily do solar weather updates. I also do just about anything that has to do with our solar system and with space, things that I happen to notice and things I might find interesting and things that you might find interesting. Today we're actually going to start off looking at our KP index, and as you can tell, we actually had quite the peak. We got up to a KP level 6. Now I do want to explain something. These are 3-hour blocks, okay? Each one of these little bars are 3-hour blocks of time. Now these are not super accurate. I wish they could get more accurate with it and have it more where it was a true graph instead of a 3-hour block, because let's say that we got up here into KP6, right? We have no idea if it literally just barely touched it and shot right back down, or if it was up here for an hour or 30 minutes or the full time. You see where I'm going with this, obviously. But we did get up into a G2 level storm, which is what I had predicted, a minimum of a G2 and possibly a G3. So we did get into G2. So it looks like I was pretty right on with that. We did start recovering. We kind of popped back up. There's little reverberations or little echoes, little wisps that are still behind, which would keep us back up into a G1. But other than that, all is well. All is well, at least for the moment. Folks, it is starting to ramp up. Debris is flying all over the sun's eastern limb, a sign that an active sunspot is approaching. NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory caught at least the latest eruptions during the early hours on April 15th this morning. This, according to UTC time. I will actually go to ISWA, and I'll show you here in a little bit. The source of the blast is so big, it has been affecting the way the whole sun is vibrating. Okay, think about that. That's insane. Helioseismic soundings reveal a large region on intense magnetism just behind the sun's eastern limb. That's what we're looking at here. Okay, it is probably a complex sunspot group, which I suspect to be old 2975 coming back around at us. We will find out in a few days when the active region rotates over the sun's eastern limb, which honestly, it's kind of started. It should be, I think it'll be here around Sunday when it'll actually be peaking. But this is what we're looking at, and you can see the size of this hole. It's massive. Now we have some pretty big coronal holes, but this is the magnetism. This actually takes a picture. This is the magnetism we're looking at, so you can see this is a huge magnetic anomaly that's had, like, it's a large magnetic flux. There's something really happening right here. Okay, now this right here, this actually kind of rolls over, but when it's over here, when you see it on the models, you can see that it's there's something wonky going on here. Now, with this being said, we're going to go to some other things and take a look and get ready. Here we are over at spaceweatherlive.com, and take a look at this long M flare. Yeah, buddy. We got up to an M2.2 at one point, but that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is significant. But what's the most significant is looking at our baseline. We went down from a B1, just living in B1, which is a very comfortable place for us to be. And you see how it just slowly transitions up, and we got up, it actually went up quite sharply up here into C and kind of crested around. Now, I thought this was a flare last night. I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of looked at this and I'm like, oh, it's coming back down. So I didn't think, or yesterday I was like, nothing big of it. So I actually went to bed and didn't think of it. And this morning I got up and I'm like, holy cow. And then you can see our baseline just climb right up into a long, looks like a long C, and then it kind of comes back down. I'm like, well, wait a minute, is this a long flare? What's happening here? And then I see our baseline come down, and then of course, boom. Folks, when we start living in C flare, we definitely have the possibility, especially when you're up in high C's, you have the higher possibility of getting X flares and larger X flares. Now, if we're living in M flare, oh yeah, we can pop all the way up here into X10 plus. Like that, it's just how it goes. I mean, you can clearly see that as you go up, and if you've been watching any of my previous videos, the higher we go up in our baselines, whenever there's a flare, the higher the flare will go. And that's just how it is. So let's go take a look and see what's going on. And this is coming around the limb at us, folks. Now we can see that it's starting to recover here. It's starting to come back down. So that means that this was some form of a long flare. Okay, so let's go and take a peek. It looks like we're going to be starting off here in the C flare as it was coming back down, kind of drops down into the low C's, And right as we get over Africa, wham, here she blows. Got right up into the M, and let's see where she peaked out at. Right, come on, we're almost there. Right there, and that is straight out 30 decibels of X-ray absorption right here. Almost off the charts. 35 is as high as we go. But look at this bad boy. Africa is always getting hammered. So if you happen to live in any of this region, just be prepared. You've been taking on some X-ray quite a substantial amount. And as we kind of go on, I mean, look how long this thing lasts. It just stays there. Gets right over here into North America, and you can see it starting to come back down into the upper C class. So yeah, Africa really got a blasting, and especially from Western Africa to about mid-Africa, really got the worst of it, I would say, for sure. Yep. So be careful, folks. If you start getting headaches, if you start getting nauseous, backaches, whatever, you start having headaches, you're having problems thinking, believe it or not, an aluminum foil hat actually does work. Yes, the crazy, tinfoil hat people, yeah, there's a reason, because it's true. Now I'm going to start off here. We're going to look at, this is stereo ahead, and we're going to take a look at stereo ahead. I actually brought it back to the 12th all the way up to today, and what we're going to do is we're going to watch the activity going on the backside of the sun. This is from old 2975, I believe, and we're going to watch quite a bit of action going on. Here we go. Boom, there's one. That was a big one. Let me back. In fact, that was just about another one. Look at this. That was a very significant large eruption. That came off the backside, and then we got another one about to pop off right here. There's another large. Oh, we got some. Hello, friends. UFOs there. That's another large, significant eruption coming off that backside, and we got another one. Now we saw that one come off the top, and that's from this morning actually. That's a plasma filament release from the top this morning, and that is coming our direction towards us. We'll have to take a look here at LASCO C2 to really verify that, but you can see that the disruption on the sun's surface when this went. I mean, look at this. That started to lift, and the whole thing just said boop. And one more. So yeah, that's all on the backside, and that's coming around at us. Okay, so, and this is Mercury, by the way. No need to worry about that. This is Mercury. So now coming over here and checking out LASCO C2, going back from the 11th. There's one off the backside. Another one off the backside. Look at this side. Look at this thing. That is massive. I mean, look at those arches, how it just comes right off. That was a major explosion. It also popped off on the right side, well, the left side. If we're looking at it, it's the right side. Then we got our Borg cubes. You can see them bending light here. There's one bending light here. There's another one here. There's another one here. They're just elongated. Sometimes they're elongated. Sometimes they're perfectly square. It just depends on where they're positioned. There was another explosion there. And actually, if you look, you can see it rotate. Watch this. You're seeing our classical, like C cup form, and then watch it rotate. Now look, it's facing up. It actually rotated. Pretty cool, huh? And there's another one. There's the one this morning, and this looks like it's coming our direction actually. This is the one this morning that popped off this morning. Yep, that's actually coming, well, not quite at us, but it's towards our Earth facing side. I'll put it to you that way, but it's going up above us. So we're most likely going to miss this one, but this is the one. That's another one that we really need to be paying attention to, because this is about to come around the limb at us. We're going to be looking at that, and then you got stuff coming off the bottom side of the sun, which is very rare also. Oh, there's another one. Goodness, and that's right up to date, folks. That's actually pretty good. 1400. That's 6 hours exactly ahead of us. So, yeah, let's go take a look at our SDO. Come right up here. I've already got them pulled up, and let's take a look at those M flares really quick. And this is where we're at. This is where the M flares are popping off at. Is right over here on this eastern limb. So let's go ahead and take a look. Cut out here. Oh, hello! Look at that. We got a nice little UFO. See him right here? Let me zoom in here for you. There he is, traversing the sun, going straight down. I love seeing those guys sometimes, you know. So we're going to zoom in over here in this region and look at this. Oh, look at that. There's another one. Just zooming right on by. Just doing that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So yeah, we can look at this. That's just constant M flare living. So that is a lot of activity, which means the coronal mass ejection is not coming at us. It is still around the limb of the sun. So that's the good part that's saving us. Now look at this monstrosity here. We're looking at the angstroms of light of 211, which allows us to see different gases that burn, is what the angstroms do. And we can clearly see this huge coronal hole here. But what we want to look at is right up here. This is the area that went off this morning. That's kind of coming in our direction. You see that lifting off? Whoosh. That's what we saw. Okay, but look at what happens. It cuts channels out of the sun's surface from this particular gas. Look at how big that opens up there. Almost like another solar canyon. Okay, and it made the coronal hole bigger, which is just insane. That was big, folks. And I mean, if you look at it, it's just a little lift off. I mean, it didn't look like it was anything big. It's just a little poof, but it was enough to disrupt the sun's surface for sure. Now we'll come over here and we'll take a look at the 304, which is going to allow us to see filament release. And let's come. This goes back to the 14th, and we're going to zoom in on this a little bit. Now there's a lot of areas to keep in mind here. Not only the region coming around, but we can also watch what happens here. But I mean, look at all the filaments dancing. There's a lot of stuff happening right now, especially that on the eastern limb. So many explosions and pops and stuff happening. Now it's kind of hard to see the release on this, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I almost can't even see it, to be honest with you, on the 304. Dang it. Okay, I did actually find it. So took me a minute. Now what we have to do is we have to watch right around here in this region right here. And you'll see right here, this is the strand that actually kind of leaves the surface. It's kind of hidden and masked by this large filament here. But if you look down here, you'll also see the solar canyon open up. You see it opening up. Now watch it closing. See it closing and then opening up. That's where the release came from. So that was kind of a weird one. Whoa, what was that? Another little friend up there dancing around the sun. Fun stuff. Fun times ahead, folks, that's for sure. Now, you guys ready to see something kind of cool? This is not something we see every day. We're looking at 195 angstroms. Okay, this is from GOES 16. Watch the sun. Look at this. It's actually getting flipped around. It looks like the sun is getting all jacked up, but the sun isn't really doing this. It's the data from the satellite, because the satellite's getting popped. So this is the actual correct way of viewing the sun at this moment. But as you watch it, see what I mean? The satellite takes a smack, and so trying to follow it, you're like, wait a minute, where is it? Where is this at? It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. I just thought it was interesting, something to show you guys. Thought you guys might like to see that. Just to reiterate, that was from GOES 16. Okay, this is SDO in the 193 angstroms, not 195. But I did notice this. Look at this. We go from 1116. Check the time down here. 1116 to 1404. Why are we missing 3 hours and 12 minutes of data? There's something going on here, folks. That's for sure. But as we back up, we can see that it doesn't rotate, it doesn't bob around, so the sun is fine, it's still doing its normal thing. But I don't quite get far back enough. You can actually kind of see the filament right here. You can kind of see where the filament was leaving the sun's surface on the northern hemisphere, and it normally doesn't do that on the sun in the north. It's normally right along the equatorial plane, but that's very north. In fact, let's back this up a little bit. This is a lot better, folks. Here we go. Now we can really see it leave the surface. There we go. See it coming off the northern limb there? Yeah, that's going up and above us, so I don't think we're going to have too much to worry about that. We might get a teeny smidget of plasma, I mean, because it kind of goes all over the place. It's not just, it doesn't go off like a pencil, you know, like a fine-tooth comb or whatever. No, it kind of broadens out. So, there it was. So remember, keep your eyes open, folks. No fear. Love is the only way forward. Solar Wolf out.